Hey y'all, I'm Laura Richardson with Relevate, and we're bringing you another episode of our amazing podcast on moving to North Carolina Now What. And today we are talking about something that is super important, especially in a state like ours, and that's home inspections. So, first of all, we're going to talk through some of the biggest questions that buyers have posed. So, think about like your Google search kind of questions, the ones that come up the most often. That's what we're going to be answering. But if you do have additional questions, be sure to drop those in the comments below, and we will answer them for everyone. So first of all, what is a home inspection? We don't want to assume that anybody knows anything here. So a home inspection is essentially an assessment or an overview of the home's condition. So this can cover everything from structure to roofing, plumbing, electrical, heating and conditioning, as well as like interiors, ventilation, and so on. So your home inspector is kind of your generalist. They're the person that's going to tell you the health of the home. And then from there, you'll call in your specialist to kind of cover some of the other areas that we discussed. So, one of the other big questions is, are home inspections required? Do you have to do this? Because they do cost money, and it is the buyer's responsibility to pay for these. So, no, they are not required at all. But you do need to keep in mind, those of you who are considering buying in our state, because North Carolina is an as-is purchase state, which means the seller has not done pre-inspections. So, it is really important for you to recognize that that as-is purchase means they're telling you nothing essentially up front because they haven't done the investigation yet. It's your responsibility to do that. So they're giving you what intel they know, but if it is not known, it's on you to discover it. So, third big question is, who performs this home inspection? Well, you have two different types of groups of home inspectors. The one that we see most often here is InterNACHI. So that is their reporting body, who they're responsible for getting their certifications through. So you want to make sure your inspector or somebody who's claiming to be an inspector is InterNACHI certified. So the cost of that inspection can vary. It is based on the size of the home, whether or not it's resale or new construction, as well as do you have a crawl space or a basement? There can be a lot of factors, but think square footage is probably one of the biggest ones, as well as condition. So like age of home can be a big one. So we kind of tapped on this, but who is responsible for those inspection costs? Well, in North Carolina, it is the buyer. The buyer is the one that is responsible for those. So just make sure that when you're talking with your agent or your lender and you're discussing all of those costs and what to expect payment-wise, that an inspection is something that you're kind of banking in your brain. A good rule of thumb that we use is about $550 for the average home size. So, can a buyer attend an inspection? Should you be there when this is being done? So, yes, you can attend a home inspection. It actually can be very informative. We typically recommend going to the wrap-up portion. Like anything in life, you want to make sure that whoever's conducting the inspection can do that without distraction. This helps them not to miss anything and to be extremely thorough. But it's great to do a wrap-up where they can walk through that whole inspection report with you on site, answer your questions, and also kind of tell you about any deficiencies that may come up through your due diligence repairs requests. So just make sure that you're getting all that information straight from the horse's mouth. So how long does the home inspection usually take? Well, again, size and condition of the home can dramatically impact this, but the averages are typically 2 to 3 hours. So what are some of the most common issues that we find during a home inspection? Well, obviously, home inspection reports are here to educate the buyer on all of the conditions and the status of every single system, from your roof to your HVAC to your water heater, your plumbing, everything, down to the really important stuff like foundation and structural items. So they're going to flag pretty much anything that's going to be what we call a deficiency, a defect, something that is not in the condition that it should be based on the age of the home. So some areas that we do typically see stuff pop up would be damage to the structure, faulty wiring, HVAC conditions, maintenance on a home can be a big factor here. And then another one that can tie in with your loan product is any safety issues that might be around. If you're buying an older home, one of the big ones that we see get flagged a lot is having hand railings on stairs. So if there's 4 or more stairs, you're supposed to have those railings, and certain loan products will actually require that be amended as a stipulation of your loan. So the inspector is going to give you a lot of really good heads up information. And then one of the last big questions is, what does it mean if a home is listed as is? Well, this one's a little interesting in a state like ours where we're already an as is purchase state. Like we're legitimately a caveat emptor state, which means buyer beware. So if you're coming from a state where if somebody were to say as is, in that scenario, the seller is basically attesting, I'm not doing anything. It is what it is. The day that you do your showing, the day you put out your contract, this is what you get. And I don't necessarily have all the knowledge that you're maybe asking for. In North Carolina, every single contract is an as is purchase. The due diligence period where these inspections are conducted is an opportunity for you to gain more knowledge and kind of decide, do you want to continue with the contract? So just keep that in mind, that if you see as is in a North Carolina listing description, typically that's indicating that the seller doesn't plan to do a lot of repairs. We do see this a lot with like investment properties, for example. So hopefully these top 8 questions are really going to help you get a good understanding and a good basis for what a home inspection is. But as always, talk to your agent, talk to them about who they would recommend, and see if you can sit down with that home inspector and learn more about the home that you are about to own. I'm Laura Richardson with Relevate, and we will see you next time.